Welcome back to EQ for Entrepreneurship. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. I am Keisha Freed, your success coach of Unlimited for Life Coaching, here to support career professionals and entrepreneurs to lead people and grow their businesses from both mind and heart. And in part 1 of this series, we talked about the realities of being in entrepreneurship. Social media and media in general makes entrepreneurship look so glamorous. On the outside, it can look like everything is easy. But once you are on this road and behind the curtain, there are struggles. There is hard work. And as we have the right tools and the right people around us, and of course, the right business, the right product, we can overcome these challenges and have tremendous reward. And so you become stronger in your self-confidence and stronger in your self-assuredness. We become self-empowered. This is self-mastery. And this is why I like to refer to as entrepreneurship as the hero's journey. It's that path that you take for exponential growth. And when you know how your mind works, how your emotions work, guess what? When you face these challenges, you can actually tackle them with a lot more fluency, with less time, and you make better decisions. And so this is the power of emotional intelligence. And this is why I bring this content to this channel to help you understand how you can use your own unique emotional intelligence and the power of mindfulness to achieve your goals, whether it's in business or in the workplace. So let's dive into 3 EQ tactics you can do to tackle the monster of self-doubt and fear in entrepreneurship. Yep, we are talking about self-doubt and fear because all of us face self-doubt and fear at some point on this hero's journey. So I'd like to invite you to think about this question. When you are facing self-doubt, when you are facing the fear of failure, what do you do? Let's face it. When we step outside of the comfort zone, it can feel scary, and then the doubts start to come up. And there are some people who never get started on this hero's journey because they know at some time or another they're going to have to confront their weaknesses. And then there are those who start on the journey and they hit this self-doubt or they hit these challenges, but they do the same thing over and over and over again because they don't know what else to do. But that's okay. Emotional intelligence is a powerful tool for everyone, regardless of what your patterns are. Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. This is about knowing your patterns and learning how to change them. So in emotional intelligence at the 6 Seconds Network, we say that emotions give us data. So we can actually say that self-doubt and fear are actually opportunities. No, they don't feel so good, but they are hidden gifts. So one of the things that you can do, and this is the first step, is learn to explore and be curious about your emotions. So to understand and discover what these gifts are within our emotions, we can learn to be curious like a detective. We can start off by asking questions like, what is this emotion trying to tell me? So, like I said before, emotions are signals, they're data. They're just as important as our thoughts. And they can help us understand what is going on deep within. So let's take, for example, Darius. Darius is a small business owner who often has clients who yell at him. And of course, naturally, he gets upset when his clients are yelling at him. He thinks that his emotion is upset or anger or maybe even fear because his clients are yelling at him. But as he begins to explore these emotions and goes deeper within, he discovers that actually what he's afraid of is that he is not providing good service to his customers. And the result is going to be a blow or damage to his company's reputation. Let's think about another example, Joanna. Joanna might be feeling sad or doubtful because she's not getting a response to her social media ads. She thinks that's what she's really worried about, but as she begins to explore her emotions and dig a little deeper, she realizes that all along she's been afraid that the market is just too crowded and that her business wouldn't be able to succeed because she wouldn't be able to compete against so many other businesses. So you see, by being curious and exploring our emotions, we can discover the real problem. We get to the root of the situation. And this is really worth your time because emotions like doubt and fear, they actually suck energy out of you. They drain you. So when we dig into these emotions, we're actually able to reframe the situation, ask the difficult questions, just go through this whole process to transform those emotions by first navigating and processing them, reframing our thinking. We can actually shift our energy from being drained, fearful, resistant, avoidant, to having more inspiration, energized, and more motivation. So the first step, as I've said, is to explore those emotions and be a detective and feel into what's really causing this doubt and fear of failure. The second step, or the second EQ tip, is to let go of perfection and pretend like you are an inventor. So I mentioned in part 1 about the education system and how it has this punishment and reward system. If you get it right, that's great. If you get it wrong, that's not so good. And it's taught us to feel good if we get it right, bad if we get it wrong. And we carry this mindset with us into adulthood, into our workplaces and our businesses. And this mindset actually hinders us. What if we were able to reframe and say, I got it wrong, and this is actually a good thing. Now, you may argue and say, that makes no sense. If I get it wrong, then I've wasted money and I've wasted time. But if you look at it, think about it a little bit more, what actually happened here? You've actually got more information on what not to do, which opens you up to receive more information on what you could or should do, or at least what the options are. And I really like the way Thomas Edison reframed it. He said, I haven't gotten it wrong. I just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. So having this inventor mindset of it's okay if I get it wrong, it's okay if I fail, and trusting that you're going to get it right actually can relieve some of the pressure of this need to be perfect and get it right the first time, and can actually reduce this fear of failure and this self-doubt. I'd like to introduce a little bit of neuroscience to you. The brain has this amazing capacity called neuroplasticity. And studies indicate that our brains have the ability to create new neurons when we try or do new things. And the more you are willing to try these new things, even if you don't get it right, guess what? You develop new neurons. So essentially what this means is our brain's capacities grow, and we develop this capacity for more creativity, more critical thinking skills. We get new knowledge, we gain new insights, and ultimately discover new ways of doing things. So as you learn what doesn't work, your brain is actually becoming more and more creative, just like Thomas Edison. And if you think about being an artist, and maybe you might say, I don't know how to paint, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to play an instrument or anything. But even if you listen to some of the interviews of some of our famous artists, or even the artists that are around you, mistakes and getting it wrong can sometimes be downright genius. Any artist can tell you playing the wrong note, using the wrong color, the wrong brushstroke, the wrong gesture can sometimes actually be the right music note or the right color or brushstroke. You see, sometimes mistakes can actually open that door to greater creativity. What we didn't intend to do, that we actually did, turns out to be better than what we so-called should have done. So letting go of perfection, this fear of making mistakes, that's one barrier that creates self-doubt and blocks us from trusting the process and choosing to learn from what doesn't work. It decreases the pressure to get it right and let go of the notion that failure means you're not able to achieve your goal. So in this third and final point, I want to introduce to you this idea of having a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. When we relax, and we're not worried about getting it perfect or right, we can shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And what is a fixed mindset? And what is a growth mindset? In a fixed mindset, we have this belief, these are the skills that I have, these are the abilities I have, this is what I know, and we're just sort of fixated on this is it, in the box. And then when we come up against obstacles and we try to use that knowledge and those abilities and they don't work, then we just throw our hands up in the air and say, I failed. So we see failure as permanent. But with a growth mindset, we're ready to use that neuroplasticity to our advantage. We can see the obstacles and we're ready to take on the challenge because we know the more we tinker around, the more we play around with this, the more we explore other options, those new neurons are firing in our brains and opening us up to greater creativity. So by focusing on growth, whether it be growing your business, personal growth, growing and stretching your neuroplasticity of your brain to develop new ways of being, new ways of relating to others, developing a new product or service, you're actually moving closer to achieving your goal. So this wraps up part 2 of EQ for entrepreneurship. Again, those 3 points are: be curious about your emotions, act like a detective, and really go in and find out what those emotions are really trying to tell you. Number 2, letting go of perfection and reframing failure. And number 3, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. These 3 keys can help you confront self-doubt and fear. So thanks again for joining me in part 2. If you found this video to be helpful, please click like and feel free to comment. If you like some coaching, click on the link in the description and schedule a free 1-hour discovery call with me. We can sit down and chat and see if we are a match for each other. And I want to share with you that I have a special for my coaching packages this month. So go ahead and click that link and schedule a discovery call with me, and I'll share with you what those options are and want to help you reach at least one of your milestones before the end of 2023. So thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you in part 3. And until then, take care and be safe.